At the Porsche Exchange, it's all about creating a legendary ownership experience that embodies our guest lifestyle. Our Porsche service team utilizes cutting-edge technology that delivers a transparent service visit and keeps us in constant contact with our guests. And I can't think of anyone more qualified to work on your Porsche, new or classic, than our Porsche certified technicians. Whether you're a longtime guest or new to our dealership, I welcome you to experience legendary at the Porsche Exchange. If you're a Porsche owner looking for reliable, convenient service without leaving the comfort of your home or office, look no further and take advantage of the Exchange at Home complimentary pickup and drop-off service exclusively at the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park.
The first 2 weeks at Road America gave us a glimpse of the pecking order. But unlike previous series, the drivers must now hop into a different car and try to perform just as well. Will this new twist shake things up? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch the PCA Sim Racing Series 10 Club Class live here on Podium Esports. Hi, my name is Joey Atterbury, and with me in the booth tonight is Rachel Whiteford. Cameron Aubernin is on social media, and Ryan Bauer is producing while using camera angles being provided by Dougie Beard. But before we get into the racing, Series 10 is brought to you by the Porsche Exchange, which has been family owned and operated for over 40 years. Located on the north shore of Chicago, the Porsche Exchange has grown to be the largest volume Porsche dealer in the entire Midwest. Along the way, they've won the Porsche Premier Dealership Award for many years in a row and has been chosen to be one of the few Porsche exclusive manufacturer dealerships in the entire country. Find out more at 4Porsche.com or follow at Porsche Exchange on Instagram. Also, Six Sigma Sim Racing is proud to announce the Season 10 Clean Driver Award. One driver in each PCA Sim Racing class will win a Six Sigma Sim Racing $250 merchandise gift certificate. This goes to whoever earns the fewest incident points and license penalty points from their best 6 races this season. For more information, head to sixsigmasimracing.com. Well, Rachel, we are here at another North American Classic. Tell us a little bit more about this gorgeous Virginia venue.
Absolutely, thank you. And well, located in Alton, Virginia, near Danville, it is only about half a mile from the border with North Carolina. And this track was originally founded in 1957. It ran until 1974, and then was reopened in 2000 and still runs today. Now, this circuit was originally designed by Hooper Johnson and consists of about 17 corners, although you'd believe it was longer given how huge this track is. In fact, actually, no, it's 20 now, apparently, on this version. Now, we are 3.27 miles in length, and right now our weather is looking to be on the slightly cooler side with low winds, so it could be a very grippy day out there for the drivers, which you're still going to need. With just how twisty and turny this circuit is, and of course, F in the chat for the oak tree.
Yes, I remember the oak tree very fondly, and going to be going to the grid because qualifying is already wrapped up here on the racetrack, and get to a few more of the details here in just a little bit. But looks like provisionally pole right now is going to be Robbie Prescott in the number 1 car. Here we're getting the official grid now pulled up. Now the qualifying is officially over. Robbie Prescott leads the way. Kerry Brooks there, second place. And then we got Klaus Nielsen, Terrence Tong, Scott Kessel, Joe Sinclair, Sebastiano Bellistrieri, Ben Leong, Julian Velez, and Jonathan Fields in the top 10.
11th place for us tonight is going to be the driver of Kim Fricke, with Michael McKinney in 12th place. We've got Patrick Adamczyk in 13th, David Fernandez 14th, Joachim Bakker in 15th, J.R. Gregory 16th, Chris Cook 17th, Lyle Eddy in 18th, Avjit Barua in 19th, and Mario Gonzalez in 20th. Rest of those results are going to be up on your screen for you. We have a standing start, which is about to kick off.
You mentioned it, standing start, which is going to be happening very soon. We got a lot more than 20 competitors. As you see, 49 entered here in this race, and going to be getting going any minute now as everybody is lined up on the front straight. And with such a big grid out here, they're lined up pretty much all the way into hog pen. But here's the leaders right at start finish, and these GT4 cars doing a standing start is relatively simple here, but still got to focus on that traction, getting the power down and getting that launch to the green on the turn 1. And we got engines up, awaiting the signal, and we got green flag here on the racetrack. Pretty equal jump, I would say, from the entire top 15, as it looks like we got 2x2 headed down into turn 1. It's about to get very busy though, as Robbie Prescott with a very clean jump leads the way. Kerry Brooks and Klaus Nielsen side by side for second place as they go into turn 3 and 4 for the first time.
Yeah, a couple off at the back, but nothing major about that. Everyone making it through cleanly here through NASCAR. Now leading up, a little double wow, some checking up there for the race cars, but everyone keeping it on the black stuff.
And a very, very clean start from the entire top half of the grid here. Actually, I would say from really the entire grid, but it's Robbie Prescott takes advantage with a really good standing start and just says, see you later, not even looking in the mirrors right now as we get to one of the most exciting sections of this racetrack, the climbing S's. And in these GT4 cars, it is flat out until you get here to the hill at turn 10.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's when we've got to be kind of careful for these guys as we go past where the oak tree used to stand. It's so disappointing not to see it anymore, but of course the RS6 Sim, this is a new version of VIR, which is the modern updated version. In real life, that tree has been gone for quite some time, but that is what it is. In fact, did you know in 2013 it fell? Yeah. iRacing's one fell on the 21st of December 2022. A decade ago almost.
It's tough. I've driven VIR with the oak tree and without, as we're looking for a nice, little bit of contact there for 4th place. And now he holds the brakes as he gets spun on the racetrack as he sits there. I believe that's Ben Leong going to go ahead and take the tow back to pit road. But that was there for the 3rd, 4th place position, and that's really going to separate the lead battle, but plenty more action on the racetrack. And actually, to talk about that oak tree a little bit, Rachel, because I've driven it both before and after the oak tree fell, and it is a little sad to see it gone, but let me tell you, you can see a lot more through the corner now.
Yeah, of course, that's a huge factor which really helps the drivers, but it's still sad. Beautiful track, though, obviously often referred to as the American Green Hell, due to its very long, twisty, tight nature, compared often to the Nürburgring Nordschleife. But this front pack has really started to single file and separate, but further back, it is absolutely packed. In fact, it's more packed than the parking lots we're driving past right now.
And I think here, this is a battle for P13, I believe, and we're right along with Chris Cook right now, trying to hunt down Michael McKinney right in front of him. And you can see the train of these Porsche GT4 cars going up through these climbing S's one more time. And really, the tires are just kind of now getting up to temperature and pressures really on the second or third lap. They're finally good to go, and they start settling in here and going to be doing 60 minutes of racing. I know that we didn't get to that because we had the standing start happen, but we are doing 60 minutes out here tonight, and I think these drivers just starting to find their rhythm right now.
And that's always going to be so important to a track like VIR. Rhythm is everything to a long, twisty track. You can have your racing, but you need to get that flow to really kind of vibe with the racetrack. And this is very much a rhythm track. So the guys that can do that earlier in this Porsche GT4 will really succeed.
Well, not only is it a really good rhythm track as we watch them come down roller coaster and through hog pen, it's a very high-speed racetrack, and I know that we've actually got a few of the onboard cameras that are going to be featured here tonight. First one, Michael McKinney here in the car number 527. He's currently sitting in the 12th place. Chris Cook right behind him, and he's got a pretty cool rig there. Looks to have a nice triple monitor set up, got the field of view set up right. Props to you out there getting that field of view right. It's always funny when people don't have that field of view set properly, and it almost seems like you're sitting on top of the car.
Yeah, I can often share that feeling sometimes. I never went to triple screens myself. I've used it before, and it can be quite disconcerting. One of those things you need to get used to. I was more of a VR driver myself. I really found that felt the most natural for me personally. Looking at Ballestieri here, currently running 7th, started 7th, so holding his position, looking towards Terence Tong at the front there. Now, I want to just talk about Terence Tong for a second. This guy, I remember him coming into the challenge class, and he's shown a serious amount of promise as a driver. He's been going forward so much in this series. It's great to see him in club here, racing hard. Lovely to see what he's doing.
There's another onboard. I love these onboards that we're getting in. So you see the difference here. This is an ultra-wide monitor that we're looking at. Just a difference in sim rigs between the triples and the ultra-wides, but I also love the artwork there on the wall behind him. Really clean rig there from Terence Tong as he rockets down the back straightaway of VIR and upwards of 160 miles an hour, I think is what I saw. And right now, it's really been Robbie Prescott leading the way. You got to remember, he finished second there at Road America, so he's got some good momentum. And right now, he's actually being chased by Klaus Nielsen as we're jumping back. This is the number 33 on the racetrack, position number 23, Jason Brodigan, hunting down J.R. Gregory right in front of him, and he's got Matthew Yokel right behind him.
Yeah, he does. Yokel's looking for an opportunity here to try and find something, and there's a lot of passing opportunity here at VIR. The straights are a big one, of course, but you've got some of these slower corners that will really provide you a chance if you could set it up on those straights. So drivers really have to be a little bit patient, but as you see here, looking wide, but it's not going to be late enough.
No, and actually just behind, got a couple passes going on back there, and turn one is one of the best opportunities to get those passes done. You got a couple big straightaways here at VIR, but going into turn one, you have one of the biggest and longest. Oh, look at how close it's getting right in front of Robert Lacroix out there. And I believe that was Matthew Yokel trying to squeeze the nose of that GT4 car in there. But I mentioned turn one, probably the best passing zone because it's the biggest braking zone, coming down from a very high top speed out there. And really impressed with how many Porsches are still running. And look at this, another onboard. This is Joachim Bacher out here in position number 8. Another one of these triple monitors. And honestly, all of these rigs are making me jealous over here, Rachel.
Oh yeah, I never got the opportunity to have a sim rig myself. I have my desk, and I had monitors on my desk. It was very ghetto, but you manage, you know. It doesn't matter with equipment, it's about the driver. Just these guys have all got great kit, so it's going to help them, definitely. Coming through though, we're seeing some of these guys really pushing it now. I love how insulating this course is. Really gives a great perspective. Look at this, is a great view here. And I'm loving the life-size Stormtrooper. This is, David Glenn, the racing position you're looking for.
Yeah, and you pointed out this is a
with a lightsaber.
Yeah,
I want this room.
This is a room-size view, not a POV camera of David Glenn, and yeah, a huge Stormtrooper. And look at the helmets on the wall. This is in a very impressive setup. I was talking about cool rigs. We saw triple monitors. We saw ultra wides. It looks like David Glenn is in virtual reality out there. Another good choice. And this is jumping back up to the action on track. This is Terrence Tong looking out the back. Terrence is in the 6th place position and currently holding off Balestrieri and Joachim Bacher, as well as Kim Fricke. And honestly, the train doesn't end there. It goes back to Patrick Adamczyk, as well as looks like Michael McKinney trying to hang on to it.
Yeah, it certainly does as well. I'm very impressed, by the way, how much of the field is still here. It really does get more difficult the more cars you have, so this many around. I believe we may have a retirement from our nations. George Markadakis has as well. Jonathan Fields also. Kessel, I believe, is our current runner in last place and 44th out of a field of 48 drivers. That is incredibly impressive. We have that many still going in this thing. But we'll see these guys getting their work done here. We'll look at Snelling there in 20th, the Northeast Region driver. Snelling working his way towards Kuma, just ahead of him, and Lyle Eddy up the road.
And this is Brett Holmes here, trying to get the slipstream. I mentioned a few top speed areas, and we're headed down into another good passing opportunity. See if he can get the run on Peter Krummer right in front of him, and ducking out drivers right, not quite close enough to make a move into the braking zone here. Thinks better of it, just merges back in line, goes through the roller coaster section all the way down the hill. Now enters Hogpen. You most of the time see them jumping over these curbs here, hit the compression with the extra grip, and launch back out onto the front straightaway. And a reminder that PCA Sim Racing's social media offers in-race reports, breaking news, and announcements through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. To subscribe, key in the platform name and add /PCA Sim Racing. Make sure you're up to date on all of everything that PCA Sim Racing is doing with that social media platform. And right now, David Fernandez in the 16th place position. And looking at David, he doesn't have any pressure out the back right now. He's fallen down a couple positions from where he started, so I know he's trying to get back around Scott Bowers right in front of him.
Yeah, working on that for sure there, but we'll have to see if we can do anything with it. Bowers has generally been a good driver in this series, so it'll be trickier. He has got some front-end damage. I think he was involved in that concertina we had on the first lap in just out of NASCAR Bend, actually, so we'll see if that affects his aero at all.
And yeah, it's tough to tell with the paint scheme what's damage and what's not. I love kind of the camo paint schemes, but it definitely looks like the front end to your right is pushed in on that car. And with the high top speeds that we're seeing, you got to think it is not helping out there on the racetrack, as you see right behind the car trying to take advantage of that slipstream, of that draft effect, and now almost going to be able to pull out alongside drivers right. And yeah, sure enough, out breaks him. That's David Fernandez going up into the 15th place position. Navigates through roller coaster very nicely and sets his sights on one more spot up. I believe that's Avit Barua there in 14th right in front of him. And now jumping back up, this is for position number 4. This is Joe Sinclair looking ahead at Casey Brooks. And to give you guys a little bit of kind of a landscape shot, Robbie Prescott is still leading the way out front. Klaus Nielsen is tucked on the back. And ooh, it looks like J.R. Gregory flirting with the, diving down into pit road. Rachel, do you have a report on what was going on there?
Not yet, but I will take a look and try and get back to you.
Yeah. Check out this replay of exactly what happens to J.R. Gregory right here going into roller coaster. Ooh, this is very common. Looks like he just overshot the braking zone and had to take the agricultural route.
Yeah, that's just a random occurrence. It's a black flag for an incident at 1:44. He got a stop and go penalty, as did just Scott Kessler.
Back up here to this battle for the 3rd place position. So there's really kind of a battle up at the front. Robbie Prescott with Klaus Nielsen hanging on to the back, about a 1.5 seconds off. And then this is the battle for the final podium spot. Harry Brooks in that, what would you call it, a white and red car? And then you got Joe Sinclair in this green car. What would you call that color scheme, Rachel?
Which one? The green one?
Kerry Brooks here.
I'd call that the, Kerry Brooks. I'm not sure. I can tell you what the one behind it looks like, but this one, it looks quite dazzly. I'm not sure.
Dazzly. I like dazzly. It looks a bit floral with the white and red combo to me. You know.
Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with floral.
Floral. I love it. Well, looking a little bit further back here, this is coming down through Hog Pen. Battle for 20th, David Snelling. Looking forward at Peter Kilmer and Brett Holmes, and David really in the slipstream here. See if he can take advantage of a little bit of a higher top speed, and here he goes, tucking out drivers right. He's going to try to go late on the brakes here to turn one. Pretty even braking duel right now from both David and Peter, side by side, coming out of turns 1 and 2. Who can get on the gas better? But it's all about this sweeping NASCAR turn 3, and believe it's going to be David with the track advantage right here. No, it's Peter that's coming out on top, and look at this racing. Little bit of door banging going on, but still, now they settle in front to back through the lower S's.
It was indeed, and we took another update from the race control. Peter Sigourney picks up a black flag for an incident at 5 minutes 24. He gets an enhanced stop and go there, so he'll be heading down pit road for a talking to. We've got McKinney on board here, P11 there, started 12th tonight. He's looking towards Patrick Adamczyk ahead of him. Maybe break into top 10 here. That's the good setup there for your triple screens. You've got the angle just right to feel like you're actually sitting in the car. You can see him just glance occasionally.
I want to shout out, I think he's got a turn racing wheel. I got one of those sitting over here on my rig as well. I love mine. But anyways, this is actually a good shot because Michael is back here. He's in the back of a train right now, and I believe the front of the train is Julian Velez in 5th place. Got Terrence Tong right behind him, then Sebastiano Bellestrieri, Joachim Bacher, Kim Fricke, Patrick Adamczyk, Michael McKinney, Chris Cook. They're all only separated by about 0.2 of a second each. Here you get the shot of this train going by.
Yeah, it's a great view there. We're looking here on board with Kim Fricke, Niagara region driver, coming up towards 8th place ahead of him. He's up 2 so far, so going well right now, and he's got a train of 3 ahead. All well within reach.
And just behind Kim, Michael McKinney just made a move into turn 1, got by Patrick Adamczyk on the racetrack. So promote Michael McKinney up into the top 10 now, up 2 positions from where he started. And actually now looking at timing and scoring in this pack that we're looking at here, I believe it's Joachim Bacher here in the number 330. He's up 7 positions, our biggest mover inside the top 10 right now.
Yeah, it's great to see some good movement there in the top 10. Bacher doing a fantastic job here, looking at the view there from his onboard. California Inland Region driver started 15th. He's now running in 8th, so 7 spots gained for him. Ahead of him, bigger mover there, Velez there. He's up 4 into 5th place. But that's going to be interesting when we see what happens between himself, Tong, Ballestieri, and Bacher.
And I mentioned the train. Look at this. This is that train, and it's kind of tough when you're a little bit further back in the pack because you're getting the slipstream effect from all of these cars in front of you. But here's the 516. Balestrieri trying to make a move on Tong, going side by side. Ooh, a little bit of contact between the two. Both of them stay on the racetrack. Promote Sebastian up 1 spot. Terrence Tong got muscled out of the way there going down the roller coaster. You see Terrence, though, now he's got his elbows out because he's got Bacher right behind him trying to take a look as well.
Yeah, he does indeed. Bacher's really looking for a hungry opportunity. Tong has to be careful because he's going to be getting involved in this as soon as he can. So he's got to keep an eye on the rearview mirror too. It's very important. You must focus on the fight ahead, but you got to remember the guys behind you, and he will start looking. And if those two start fighting, that opens the door for Bacher to actually try and make a move here because they'll be slightly slower when they're side by side.
Rachel, that's a great point. Racing, you always think about having to try to go up and overtake somebody or trying to defend from somebody, but lots of times you're having to do both at the same time. And looking a little bit further back in the pack, this is Trip Starkey here in the 40th place position, looking ahead at Mark Lacombe and Gary Rice, and I believe also Derek Dirksen leading this battle. And looks like Trip Starkey pulls aside, or Mark Lacombe pulls aside, lets Trip on by, and just a few places being swapped around here. Doesn't matter if you're up inside the top 10 or battling it out here for what is the 37th position on the racetrack. You're going to have fun at these PCA sim racing events. And another good battle on the racetrack. This is 16th place. Scott Bowers got Lyle Eady behind him, and looking ahead all the way up to Ben Leung up there in 13th place. A train of 5 cars going down the back straightaway, and actually looks like Scott's got some company right behind him.
Yeah, he does. Lyle Eddy and Holmes there, but the ones ahead of him are like Bowers and Fernandez, and they're going to be pretty tight to get past. Those guys are quick drivers and very good defensively, so we'll have to see how this one does actually go. Just ahead of those guys, though, another grouping of cars. This is racing throughout this field tonight, from Cook to Adamczyk, McKinney, Fricky, and up towards Barker at the front, Tong and Ballestieri, who's made a big gap now. So Tong's second to leading in that group, but we've got a big move behind him there. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the driver of the 527 McKinney, looking for an opportunity. Can he send it wide and hold it with? No, he can't. He'll drop back in line.
Looking out the back of Terrence to Kim Fricky and Michael McKinney, and Michael has made his way up past a couple of these drivers, looking to get away around the number 66 now in front of him. And getting some more notes here from race control. Looks like Kessel has retired. Scott Kessel in the number 48 car had a few incidents out there and has officially retired out of this race. And 60 minutes was the original starting time, and we've already knocked out 20 minutes. That means 40 minutes remain. Kind of getting into what I call the meat and potatoes section of this race. These drivers have had the warm-up phase. They've had a couple of battles to put underneath their belt. They've kind of settled in here now, but this is the time where some of the drivers start to lose their concentration, and mistakes can happen out there on the racetrack, especially when you're involved in these really close battles.
Absolutely could, and there's a lot of really close battles here, so you have to be careful. Race control are incredibly meticulous when it comes to incidents, and they will catch everything, and they're fantastic in this series, as they have to be. You have a huge field like this, you've got to be on top of things, and boy do they. But we have racing throughout this field, and it is absolutely incredible to see this much car-to-car action. We almost don't know where to go.
Well, and I really think the only car that doesn't have action is Robbie Prescott, our leader, who's grown his gap out to over 3 seconds. Now, as you see him already out there exiting turn 1, just with nice clean air in front of him. Nothing but the windshield to worry about. And Klaus Nielsen in second place was hanging on to the back of our leader earlier, but has fallen back just a little bit and got more action a little bit behind him here. This is jumping back to that battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th on the racetrack, looking back behind Terrence Tong. I believe this is Kim Fricky as well as Michael McKinney still battling it out. They were side by side going into turn 1, and I also believe it was Balestrieri as well as Backer in front of him. So really this group has now, I think it's 7 cars deep, maybe even 8.
It is indeed. Chris Cook there from 12th place. He's looking towards Adamczyk and McKinney ahead of him. Huge pack on the racetrack in this one. So we just catch another one. Dave Stewart catching a black flag for an incident of 20 minutes. We'll see him go down pit road as well. And this is the thing, you've got to keep clean, because these penalties will throw you back an awful long way in this race. It is a huge field, and you can lose so much.
Well, and looking at this car, I believe this is the 407 of Patrick Adamczyk. The green car here on screen might get overtaken here, but so I've been at Daytona 24, Sebring 12, and this paint scheme is reminiscent of a Porsche GT3 car with the teeth. I love the paint scheme here on the 407, and I love the teeth on the front grille. What do you think about this one?
Oh, I love it. Just love seeing a shark mouth on vehicles of any kind, be it aircraft or cars. It can look a little bougie on some cars, but I think on a Porsche it looks right. They have that very aeronautical shape to the vehicle, and yeah, Shark mouths are fantastic. I love the whole kind of almost Godzilla design of the car. I'm pretty sure that's what he's going for.
It all works out with the front grills and the teeth and everything. It's a great scheme. And even on the GT3 cars, it all works out. And yeah, I believe it's a T-Rex livery is what we're getting to see here. I believe it's AO Racing that races the GT3 in real life. And very good recreation of a paint scheme done here on the GT4 car. And looking out front is Robbie Prescott still continuing to click off fast lap after fast lap. I'm looking at his last lap, 153.2. Compare that to second place, 153.6. So not only is Robbie out there leading, but he's continuing to pull away as we've got a little bit of action out here on the racetrack, Rachel.
Yeah, we do. Algie Brewer's had an incident there in turn number 2, and that is unfortunate for him because that has thrown him into a difficult situation now. Was running very well and had a moment there, and I believe he just lost the back end. I don't see any contact. He was ahead. He caught grass on the entry. He was too wide on the entry, got the grass and did a 360. So unfortunate for him, drops a ton of places.
A very common thing to do there is that you're trying to really open up the wheel going into turn 3. And you can let the car drift out a little bit too far, driver's right, and it catches a lot of people out. And surprising how much speed you're carrying right there can almost send you into the tires. As this battle with Michael McKinney looking ahead at Kim Fricke hasn't gone anywhere. Michael continuing the assault on the back of the number 66, but tell you what, Kim Fricke is not an easy customer to pass out there, has not made any mistakes, and they're looking ahead at the 388 of Terrence Tong, who is starting to fall off just a little bit of the 330 of Backer. So wonder how this is going to play out, especially since I'm starting to see the pit stop cycle sequence play out on the racetrack. I think that window is officially open, Rachel.
Yeah, and you know what? Whilst we might not normally see pit stops happen this early at other tracks, at a place like this with such a humongous field, clean air is so important. I think I would go for an earlier pit here, or a convenient pit, shall we say, based on track position, and there are many great apps to actually allow you to see where the cars will be when you come out. Coming out into clean air will be significant for these guys. You'll get you a much faster lap time, and you can jump other people who are stuck in that traffic. Traffic will be your downfall. Play your cards around a pit stop and you can jump so much of it.
I think that's a great call. And ooh, look at this, Lyle Edey. This is going into a very tough section of the racetrack. Trying to go too wide through the S's is never a good plan. Thinks wisely, tucks back in line, but that's always a tough thing to do. You got the run on your competitor, and now you see another run coming out of turn 10, gonna take advantage. Late on the brake, side by side into what is the old Oak Tree turn. Gonna elbow him out of the way. Move Lyle Edey up into the 13th place position. Really well done out there from the number 79 car.
Yeah, really great job there in that one. Eddie's been a fantastic guy in this series. Love watching him race. And he's in a good position right now in terms of holding off those guys behind him. It could go away a little bit quicker, but I don't know if Bowers, for example, has the grunt with that car's front aero damage to have an impact here. I know that's going to be, I believe, Fernandez just behind him there. Fernandez could challenge. I think we've not seen Bowers really go forward as much as he had before.
Yeah, this is you called it though. This is a really tight battle, and Bowers right now tucked up behind it. Also, Fernandez trying to assault Lyle once again, not giving up that fight at all. And you see Scott Bowers take it really deep into turn 1. They got a car right off. Oh, that's Kim Fricke. Wonder what happened, because that was part of that battle with Michael McKinney and Terrence Tong. Rachel, you got a replay on this one.
Yeah, we do. We'll get the replay here. We'll see exactly what happens here. They're coming up in towards, I believe that's Oak Tree, and just cooks it. Tries to hold the outside line. The car doesn't want to grip enough, and he just runs wide onto that dirt and can't find grip. Seen this story all over again.
Yeah, that was turn 1 right there, and you called it, just a little bit too deep on the brakes, and you saw he was almost 3 wide going into that corner. So A lot of stuff going on, but I didn't see any damage. I didn't see any car contact. It also looks like Kim Fricke's going to get back going, and this is Aviat Barua having some problems. Looks like this is coming out of the turn 5-6 complex. This is pretty common that if you jump up on the left side curb here, it can upset the car through this. Ooh, he's already loose. See if he jumps this curb on the left side. No, just way too deep in. Then struggles to try to get the car stopped and actually goes across the racetrack.
Yeah, he does, and unfortunate really for that one. Again, we're seeing a lot of this. Most of the runoff here is going to be grass, which means the cars aren't going to stop or turn. So you're going to find yourself cutting across if you have those S-bend sections where you could really find yourself rejoining the circuit. So, got to be careful. And if you've got to be careful as another driver too, because if they go off, you have to watch in case they come back. It's not just their problem to worry about. It's your car too.
Always have to be careful about re-entering the racetrack as we're jumping back. This is that battle once again for 7th place on the racetrack. Right behind Balestrieri. Oh, this is Sebastiano on the back of Joachim Bacher here for 6th place. And this was a bigger train. It's separated out a little bit since Kim Fricke went off track, and I also think we're seeing a few of the more of the pit stop cycles happen out on the racetrack. And Robbie Prescott, 5.5 seconds right now out front. And you see this battle that we're looking at, there's just a few cars separated on the racetrack. No longer that long train that we had. And Rachel, I think that meat and potatoes section of the race is really playing into effect right here. We've seen a few key competitors make mistakes and drop out already.
Yeah, it is, and I'm looking forward to seeing what some of these guys end up with in terms of positioning after the cycle's kind of through. That will really tell us how these strategies have played out. Some of these early pitches might benefit, some of them may not, so we'll have to see that. This is Robin Prescott. We don't talk about him much, but he's got 5.5 seconds over Klaus Nielsen. Absolutely stunning drive.
Stunning drive indeed. And to talk more about that stop strategy that you were mentioning, Rachel, so the only caveat is that if you stop early, you tend to have a full tank of fuel for longer, so the car is heavier, maybe making a slower lap time. So if you stretch it all the way till it's empty, you might have a light car to be able to throw down some flyers at the end of your stint. But you also made the argument if you pit early, you could be put out there in clean air. As look at Chris Cook getting the slipstream down the back straightaway. Right now going to try to overtake for 26th place into the back straight braking zone. Easy enough as long as he can get his own car slowed down, which he does. Hits the apex beautifully, down roller coaster into hog pen one more time. And I love this racetrack. We were talking about it pre-race, and this is one of my favorite racetracks in North America, and you can just see why. It's just so flowing. It's got ups and downs, green grass, and really high top speeds, which I love in a racetrack.
Yeah, I think that would fit with probably one of my favorites. It's not VIR. The American racetracks, I like Road America. But they have similar potential there. They're both fairly narrow. They're quite twisty. They're very high speed, which I think makes for a great racetrack, especially with the consequences of runoff at both those circuits. What runoff? Your runoff is green, and cows like to eat it. It's unforgiving. That's what racetracks should be like. These tilkodromes that are basically huge concrete, go screw yourself, environment and climate are difficult for racing because there's no consequence to making a mistake. You go wide, sure, maybe you get a slowdown, but it doesn't penalize you properly. Yeah, it's safer, and that is, of course, a consideration, but to me, there is no consequence like grass to really bring home the risk, the reward for making a tricky move.
I agree with you. I think that a lot of these racetracks with extra runoff, they don't provide a lot of character. You mentioned Road America and VIR. They're two of my favorites here in North America, so you're spot on right there. However, they both have character. They're both narrow as we're seeing this pit stop window open. That's Ben Leung pitting from the 13th place position. I believe he was actually up into 12th, and Scott Bowers as well. And You look at the time, 27 minutes remaining here in this race. That means that pit stop window is open. It's been open for a while, but I think now if you kind of want to pass halfway in the race, then get your pit stop over and done with, now is when you're going to see that very simple strategy take place. Take enough fuel to get you to the end, and now you don't have to worry about it anymore. Looking at Robbie Prescott right now, and continues to lead the way. And sorry to interrupt you there, Rachel. What were you going to say there about the fuel saving?
Oh, sorry, I do apologize. The fuel saving here is relatively important, but hard to do. With so many long, high-speed, full throttle segments, your opportunity to save isn't as much as you'd think. Obviously, it can still happen, and it can eke out a couple extra corners, maybe add that half a lap you had, turn it into a full lap. But really, this is a track where you really have to worry about the tyres to an extent, and with a longer pit stop here, we might see some tyre calls. Obviously, they can take tyres at the same time as fuel. Got a car off there, it's Terence Tong. Oh, problems for him too. I believe that's after he'd pitted, so this could be a big, big problem for him. I think it is. That is unfortunate because that will set him way back from where he was hoping to be. Yes, he had a pit run at lap 15, so unfortunate for him, he's dropped some spots.
Well, here's the replay. Oh, this is a tough situation here. And so you see Terrence had already pitted. He's trying to make his way back up through the field, and he actually gets caught in a situation where another car is coming out of pit road. Tries to take it 3 wide up through the middle. This is Scott Bowers just trying to get back up to speed. And let me tell you, folks, 3 into 1. It usually doesn't work out, and you saw 2 cars that time end up on the outside of the racetrack on the losing end.
I'm going to make an opinion piece here, but Walton, I believe, is at cause here.
He did come down, for sure.
That's my opinion. Race control decided differently. Of course, Tong took it 3 wide, probably a little late. In fact, he did take it 3 wide, quite late, actually, so that is a factor. Actually, yes, I actually agree with race control now. I apologize, because Walton had already started turning by the time Tong arrived, so yeah.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes we can armchair quarterback calls like that all we want to and sit here and argue about it, but there's plenty of other racing that happens on the racetrack, and that's what race control's job is doing out there, and they're doing a great job keeping an eye on what I like to call the daycare center. Got to keep an eye on everybody out there on the playground having fun on the racetrack. Here's a nice battle developing right now. Check to see the car numbers here. This is for 20th place. This is Volker Krebs looking ahead at Matthew Yokel. Up over turn 10, one of the fastest corners on the racetrack, and you see some of the competitors not even flirt with those exit curbs, because let me tell you, turn 10 is wicked fast, especially after you've been flat out up through the S's, and slow down a little bit for the Oak Tree, but blast it back down the straightaway one more time. And these competitors, I believe, let's see here, they have not pit yet, so they have yet to pit. Same with our leader, but actually, Rachel, check this out. Robbie Prescott, fastest lap of the race, 152.7, was also his last lap.
That's impressive. He's really putting in some good times here. Dealing with lapping traffic as well here, which is, again, just as tricky as passing them themselves. So you have to make sure you're doing that properly, and he's got some good gaps before he reaches a bigger, heavier block of traffic, but sooner he's going to get into that really hefty trains of cars, and that'll definitely pose an issue.
Can pose an issue if you catch him in the wrong place, but looks like Robbie's doing a good job being patient where he needs to. Looking out the back of Robert McNeil as he's going to go ahead and go a lap down here. Robert's down in the 36th place position, but he notices the leader, sticks to the left side of the racetrack, and now go ahead and follow Robbie Prescott. And best thing you can do right now is take out the notepad. Take notes from what the leader is doing. See why he is so fast on the racetrack and start to apply it to some of your own driving. As jumps the curbs down through Hogpen. Does he come into pit lane this time? No. Stays out one more time on the racetrack. How far do you think Robbie Prescott will push this? Because it looks like the top 23 have yet to come down pit road.
Yeah, I think they have, but we'll have to see how that will go. Those guys are all still waiting, I think, but they're in a good track position here to not really worry about having to go off sequence. I think they're going to wait towards the end of our pit cycle and pit in what we'd consider the regular fashion. They're in good spots. It's more just about running their race there. They're not having to think what can I do creatively. Although we say that, 9th place Patrick Adamczyk hits pit road.
I think we're going to start to see just a few of the varying strategies. And you mentioned earlier the pit stop to try to get yourself in fresh, clean air. And I think that's a great call, especially in real racing. I think that's a fantastic strategy call. And this is the battle for P4, Joe Sinclair here. But I think in iRacing here, in the sim, it's better to run the car light on fuel just because you get that advantage. You get the weight advantage to have the faster lap time. However, now we're in that area where you can kind of do that overcut, undercut with exactly what you are talking about. It. If you're stuck in a battle like Joe Sinclair is, maybe you can pit right now, have 2 or 3 laps of that clean air, and be able to leapfrog the competitor that you're out there racing.
Yeah, maybe they can. And that would be, I think, a great opportunity to really take advantage. But I think we'll have to see if they're in a, of course, position to do so. It's not a particularly controversial pit road here, so time pickup can be limited, but there's always some to gain if you do it right. Just a quick take up, just keep my eyes here on Lacroix, and I believe that's Brodigan just ahead of him, 15th and 14th. Lacroix is all over the back of that car, and off he goes, the pressure worked.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's the commentator's curse, or I just think that's eagle eyes from you out on the racetrack, being able to spot these battles and know where the action is about to happen. As it looks like we've got our leader, Robbie Prescott, coming down pit lane, trundling down at that pit lane speed limit. Gonna stop in his box, nice, slow, smooth, and that gonna promote Joe Sinclair to the lead. Looks like there's a few cars that have yet to stop, but the 212 goes 1 extra lap out there. See how this strategy plays out. And Rachel, this is that time. I think that they're pretty much dry, or if you've saved, you might be able to go +1, +2 from here.
Yeah, I think there's the opportunity for it, but this is towards the end of our window. This is where any fuel saving will have really made a difference, and I don't think he'll lose the lead. I think he's going to resume that pretty comfortably the way things are looking, but how big that gap will be, we'll have to see.
And from timing and scoring here, looks like 7 cars so far have stayed out on the racetrack. The majority of them now coming down pit road, at least this lap. Robbie Prescott cycles back out onto the racetrack in the 6th place position. You see the car right behind him, Peter Kammer, in 7th in the number 25 car. He has yet to pit, so Robbie actually coming out in a really good piece of racetrack right now. Doesn't have any pressure behind him, doesn't have anybody in front of him, just kind of gets to settle back into the rhythm of things. I would call that expert placement by the pit crew, and also his in and out lap to get him where he needs to be, not be held up at all, and secure that, what was it, 7+ second lead before it all the pit stop cycles happened?
Yeah, and I think that, of course, will cycle out for us, but we'll see how this one does actually go. There's still a lot of opportunity for this to play differently, but it's going to be interesting to see where this will shake out. This is the gap we're looking for. The Upper Canada region driver there of Sinclair heading pit road. Of course, we saw a couple of the other guys coming in. Now everyone's filling pit road. Just 2 exiting at once up ahead. Very late pit box there, of course, for Sinclair. Gridding 6th, but not as far up as some. Will we see the car go up on jacks at all? That'll be interesting to see. Prescott coming past. Where will he end up? Still on pit road for Sinclair. No jacks yet. No jacks at all. He's leaving. No tyre stop for him. And Prescott has gapped him big, I think. Huge.
Yeah, and even look at this. Here comes Kerry Brooks now. Gonna go into the 2nd place position, and That was that battle going on, and then Klaus Nielsen, actually the biggest loser out of the pit stop cycles. I don't like to say that word, but he came in second place. If you remember, he just fallen off a little bit from our leader, but now he finds himself off of the podium in fourth as Robbie Prescott resumes the lead, and now nearly 10 seconds in front of second place runner Kerry Brooks on the racetrack. And here's Julian Velez, sixth place position, still hounding the back of Joachim Bacher out here, and this is for a top 5 out here on the racetrack.
It is, and that's going to be a good spot for him to really work on. Bacher's been doing a fantastic job. I'm loving seeing him climb up this field, up 10 spots so far. Big climb. What about bigger ones as well? Brett Holmes up from 24th to 15th. He's up a similar number of places. Kuma as well, 29th to 16th. We're seeing some big movements from some of these guys, and I'm really impressed with that. But yeah, in terms of biggest movement to the top 10, there has to be Bacher. He's really pushing this one, and he's going to be holding off Velez at the moment, but I think he's looking pretty comfortable.
He is looking pretty comfortable out there, and he's done a very good job so far to be moving up through the field as much as he is. And you mentioned quite a few of these big movers. I'm looking maybe a little bit further down the field. I see up 10 Robert Cottle back there, as well as Kevin Hamann a little bit further down the order. And I'm actually pretty impressed at how stable it has stayed, Rachel. I know that we haven't had very many DNFs or exits out of here, but we also haven't seen one car just rocket up through the field. It really has been racing based off of the qualifying positions, with a few outliers out there.
It really has been. It's been a really great race. I've really enjoyed seeing this one. The guys are putting some great work in here. A couple of moments ago, by the way, Jake Steinbrink also caught a black flag for an incident of 40 minutes and 10 seconds. Race Control have handled that one. But yeah, this has been a really potent race. We've seen so much action here. Sinclair there in third place. Kerry Brooks up ahead. Brooks just made it through, actually, on that lap. So good movement by him, really adding to how this one's going to play. Brooks did pit already, so this is actually for position.
Yeah, this battle has been brewing on the racetrack. This was for the third place position before Klaus Nielsen pit stop cycled him back to fourth, but I'm gonna be curious to see if Klaus closes up on this battle, because actually last lap, the 04 car took out 3/10 from that battle in front of him. So this might be 3 cars here, given just a couple more laps. And I believe Joe Sinclair was leading Kerry Brooks before the pit stop cycles, and now finds himself behind Kerry Brooks. Going to have to find a way to get it done out on the racetrack, and he's also facing the time clock. Less than 15 minutes now, less than 14 minutes remaining here at VIR. And to put that into perspective, doing under 2-minute lap times, and it's only about 7 or 8 laps to get the pass done out on the racetrack. As we look at David Fernandez right now, trying to look around Bellestrieri in front of him, tries to give a little fake into the brake zone, tries to juke him out a little bit. Sebastiano is having nothing of it, though.
No, he's not. Bastieri has been one of those cool cucumber drivers we've always had in this series that really knows how to do it. And he's not particularly looking like he's going to be flapped by these guys. Holding strong, maintain your drive, and it can be really hard to pass around here, so should be good.
Yeah, and actually, I want to jump back up to this P2 battle, as it looks like Kerry Brooks is having a few issues. Joe Sinclair is going to try to take it too wide up underneath in the lower S's. This is a very narrow section of the racetrack, and I know there's a lot of racing going on, but this is for second place as the time is winding down, and it looks like Joe Sinclair in this green car might have a little bit more speed than Kerry Brooks, just trying to find a way by. But one thing that I've noticed out of the last handful of laps is both of these drivers have been very respectful on the racetrack, haven't been door banging out there a whole lot. And let's see if Joe gets the run out of Oak Tree. But check this out. Kerry Brooks doing what he needs to do, got a fantastic exit out of Oak Tree.
Yeah, did. And oh, this is getting spicy. Looking towards Bellistieri. things just got very hectic there. I want to try and get a replay of that happening because that just got messy. We had a humongous run by the 290 of Leung and clobbered the back there of, I believe that is going to be the 09 machine of Fernandez. Sent himself off the track doing so, but double tap and, well, going for a skiing trip off the track there. There's not going to be much turning. Got to be super careful with this sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think that all stemmed from the 527 of Michael McKinney. Not sure what happened, but he's got heavy damage already, and I think he checked up the cars behind him. And once again, your eagle eye has caught that, and we're right in the middle of that battle, and things are starting to spice up on the racetrack one more time. Looks like this is, I believe, the battle for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th place on the racetrack. So going down the front straightaway one more time now. Only 11 minutes remaining here at VIR at this PCA sim racing event. And looking a little bit further ahead now, this is Joachim Backer is not giving up on the assault of Julian Velez. And remember, this is a battle for the top 5 finishing spot. Julian currently 5th place. Can't pronunciate anything tonight, it seems, Rachel. And Joachim 6th place, trying to take away that top 5.
Yeah, Joachim's really working on that one, and I've been impressed by his race tonight. It's been really hard going. I could see him doing so, but we'll have to see it. Velez is a tough cookie in his own right, a veteran campaigner, so not going to be a pushover.
Coming out of Oak Tree, who gets the best run? And I've been really surprised at how equal the top speeds are of all of these race cars. The draft effect really isn't coming into play as much as I would expect, and honestly, it's pretty kind of similar to what we see in real life. In the GT4 cars, they're just so evenly matched down the straightaway. It usually comes from different manufacturers where you get the top end speed difference, but this is really good stuff on the racetrack. Julian Velez, Joachim Backer, and Chris Cook, the third car here in line in that blue turquoise machine 47. Actually got a really good run here going down the front straightaway, tucked in the slipstream. We'll see if he tries to outduel the 330 on the brakes. He's going to look driver's right. Here he goes. Does Chris Cook take it in super deep? Braking duel, and it's actually Joachim that goes in too deep. Wide he goes, and Chris Cook easy slips right underneath. He says, "Thank you very much. I'll take away the 6th place position."
He certainly will, and that's going to shake things up a tad for these drivers as it gets exciting very, very quickly. Well-placed movement there. He almost looked like he was trying to basically cut that spot as Velez came across, but he pushed him wide, and well, Cook took advantage.
It was a textbook pass that he showed his nose, went to his limit, but Joachim just overstepped it a little bit, and Chris Cook said, "Okay, I'll take the regular racing line and the position as well. Thank you very much." And on we go. Keep on chugging on the racetrack. And this is the battle here. Scott Bowers in this white, red, and blue splatter scheme being chased by Brett Holmes. Also Ben Leung. And this is jumping back up now. This is Chris Cook. Joachim Backer not done with Chris. You see him tucked in the slipstream. This might be an opportunity for Joachim to get back by.
Yeah, it might be. And Joachim can have a real look for this one. See the opportunity. He's placing his car well, but he needs to find the right chance to do it. Go wide into the corner, come tight out of it, get a run, but he doesn't quite make it work. He's just too tucked up there behind Cook.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just the pressure that you need to apply in order to force somebody into the mistake, like we saw happen just one lap ago here, going into this very corner of turn 1. Is Backer close enough? Doesn't look like it. Drifts off driver's left and is back up to Klaus Nielsen. I mentioned that Nielsen was slowly but surely hunting down this group here of Joe Sinclair and Kerry Brooks, and he's officially there, but It's about half a second that's separating each one of these cars, so not quite the battle that I was hoping to get on the racetrack. However, just in front of them, I see going through turn 10 right now is a lapped car, as well as a car off on the racetrack right in front of them. See how these competitors navigate all of these variables, because got to remember, there's still 7 minutes remaining out here.
Yeah, it is, and I really have seen a fantastic race tonight. These guys have put this one to work, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow night as well. It's going to be exciting with those guys, but at the moment we're seeing a fantastic run here. I'm surprised Barker has dropped back here a little bit after his run, but of course Cook has taken over that spot of biggest climber in the top 10, 17th to 6th, 11 spots gained here, and he's looking for Velez. He's super close.
Yeah, you see Chris Cook really tucked into the slipstream right here. This is going to be an opportunity. Heading down the back straightaway right now, 145, 150 miles an hour. Does he give a push? He steps out of line really late on the brakes. He's side by side with Julian. Thinks better of it. He's going to try to go over, under, through the roller coaster. Still tucked up under the spoiler of Julian Velez. One more time through Hogpen. Julian flirts with the grass on the exit. That's really going to give the run to Chris Cook. You see him already pulling out driver's right. This is going to give him the preferred line heading into turn 1. And just like that, Chris Cook already gets the pass done on Julian. He's going to fight back in the brake zone, but I think this is going to be position Chris Cook in the number 47.
Yeah, he's really working for this one, and he gets that spot. Nicely done. Gonna have to hold it off Velez here, because he's not gonna want to give it away too easily, but this has brought Backer back into the fight, at least slightly. So let's see if that one can hold here, but really pushing the numbers at the moment. Kerry Brooks, by the way, holding off Joe Sinclair just ahead of this group as well. Nielsen running very solo behind that pair, and just ahead there of, actually a bit further back actually, 17 seconds adrift there is Cook, Velez and Backer. Oh, round has gone the 516. That's Ballestieri. He's had a moment. Not his first tonight, and I think it was a similar incident. He caught grass going wide for the entry of a corner, and round he went, unfortunately.
Well, that was right around that turn 3 area that you saw the car earlier go off from going wide, and I don't doubt if it was a little bit of the same thing. And Balestrieri back out onto the racetrack, and David Snelling just a couple cars behind him, looking forward at Jason Brodigan, running a little wide through the S's here. This is going to open up an opportunity for Snelling if he's brave on the brakes. Maybe set up a little over-under going into Oak Tree, but it's more important to get the power down coming out of Oak Tree there, as most of the cars pretty even on corner exit. Don't think one's going to have the advantage over the other, especially being in a 4-car slipstream here. The top speeds are going to be pretty similar, and actually the battle for second place is starting to heat up one more time. And just as I say that, Joe Sinclair loses the nose, loses about 5 car positions there in turn number 4. But Rachel, this battle right here has been seesawing. As soon as Joe Sinclair catches Kerry Brooks, seems to have a little bit of a mistake or just be thrown off his game and have to regather it back up, like what we're seeing right here.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And wow, you have to keep it going. You've got to push forwards. In a field this size, you know, making a mistake, you can gain a lot back and you can still have a great finish, because it's such a big field. But you've really got to try, and you've got to keep that grind going. It's going to have to be hard to find it again after you've had a moment. But 3 minutes left on the clock here. We are looking a handful of laps remaining, and Prescott is working on lapping more traffic. That's going to be the cars ahead of him there. Can't work out who that is. I can't see a number board on that car. 28, I think, as he will go through there. It's been a tricky run.
Well, it's at least a 28 in terms of the paint scheme out there.
Yeah,
I know. I agree with you. Yep. Well, it looks like Robbie Prescott's going to round out of Hogpen here, come and take the line here with about 2.5 minutes remaining, just under 2.5. So that means 2 laps to go here this time by. He's built himself over 10 seconds of a gap over Kerry Brooks and Joe Sinclair, who are continuing to fight it out on the racetrack right now. And looks like Robbie Prescott will have to deal with a few more lapped cars, but with how much of a gap he has over this battle right here, I think he's just got to be wise in his decisions out there and how he approaches everybody. And he should be able to collect a win here tonight. As we watch Joe Sinclair, Rachel, this is what I was talking about. He's gathered it back up, and now he's launching another assault at Kerry Brooks.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And by the way, that was Gary Reese, the number 17 that we couldn't find the number on. But yeah, Kerry Brooks has to watch out here, because late in the race, he can get a little sloppy. It can happen, and Joe Sinclair's really desperate for this one. He wants that spot. So let's see if we can find something for this, but it's going to come down to the wire, I think. We've got 2 to go, according to our producer, and the group of Velez back has broken up somewhat. Chris Cook is running away in 5th place there, so he's got a chance to make that one stick. It's going to be a big battle here, Sinclair and Brooks.
Well, and I tell you what, I think that Joe Sinclair is much more aggressive on the racetrack than Kerry Brooks right now. You see him really all over the place in terms of trying to show his nose or show himself in the mirrors of Kerry Brooks, and I think it's actually coming up to a little bit of a negative in some of the areas. I think that if he more just calms down out there, he'll be able to be closer consistently and be able to find a way around. Here's a shot of Robbie Prescott in that number 1 car. Remember, he started on pole position out here. He's looking up at the flag, man. Got 1 lap to go here. Getting that white flag. Just got to navigate VIR in 3.27 miles. One more time cleanly out here on the racetrack, and he will be crowned the race winner at VIR, but still got about 10 turns left from here, maybe 12 to go. And looking back, Joe Sinclair continuing the assault on Kerry Brooks, and actually just made a little bit of a mistake. Yeah, that's going to separate that battle.
Yeah, I think that's one's cooked that battle here as it stands, because his tyres are a little bit overwarm after that. But we saw a wiggle from Sinclair. He got loose. He caught it very well, but that cost him some time and some distance to Kerry Brooks, and I think that might make the difference.
I think it will. I think it definitely will. It's separated them out enough that really the only thing that we're going to see change positions out here is if we get a mistake out of any one of these cars. And right now is Robbie Prescott navigating his way around Oak Tree. Might be invisible Oak Tree, but it is still Oak Tree Corner out there. And you see him going down the back straightaway. I think Robbie knows that he's got this one in the bag. However, still got to navigate a few tricky sections of the racetrack, and not to mention slowing your car down from 150 miles an hour down here at the end of the back straightaway. But there he is on the binders, down through the gears. Now you can pretty much coast it from here to start finish, and with a 10-second gap, I'm sure he could put the clutch in and just do that, and he will meet Barney the Flagman. It has been a day for Robbie Prescott. Started on pole, has led every single lap with the exception of the pit stop cycle, and your race winner here at VIR.
Fantastic drive by Prescott. Did a really good job today. Big gap there over Brooks. Brooks holds off Sinclair as expected there, as they'll come to the end here. That gap finally to Prescott, 10.9 seconds. So Gary drove real fast there with Sinclair, taking advantage of that mistake. Laladi coming through the final section here. Will we see anything happen for him? That's Fernandez ahead of him. I'm not sure if we'll see a move, but I think it'll stay this way unless he gets a great run out at the final corner. It's not looking like it's gonna be. I think this will stay the same way.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's gonna have the run on him there. Lyle Eddy there gonna claim the 10th place position, as we're gonna have plenty more cars and battles finishing out here on the racetrack. Jump a little bit further back. This is for position number 23. This is Kevin Douglas chasing down Matthew Yokel down the back straightaway, and Kevin's got a really good run. See how deep he takes it on the brakes, trying to show the car drivers right now. He cuts back drivers left. But I tell you what, Matthew doing a great job just placing his car right in the middle of the racetrack. I think Kevin Douglas is just going to have to try to focus on the exit, but it's all Matthew Yokel going to hang on to the 23rd place position. Kevin Douglas there 24th, and here is the Stormtrooper himself, David Glenn, coming to close this one out.
I gotta say, that is my favorite driver cam we've had all season. I absolutely love that one. That is in Nerd's Paradise, and I'm total support of this.
I absolutely love it. I think that's one of the most impressive sim racing rooms that I have ever seen out there. And we're going to take a quick break. Be right back with the official results of this PCA sim racing series at VIR.
A little earlier if that's going to be the case. He's actually got a nose ahead as they come down into the braking zone. He's going to do it the hard way.
If you're a Porsche owner looking for reliable, convenient service without leaving the comfort of your home or office, look no further and take advantage of the Exchange at Home complimentary pickup and drop-off service exclusively at the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. At the Porsche Exchange, it's all about creating a legendary ownership experience that embodies our guest lifestyle. Our Porsche service team utilizes cutting-edge technology that delivers a transparent service visit and keeps us in constant contact with our guests. And I can't think of anyone more qualified to work on your Porsche, new or classic, than our Porsche certified technicians. Whether you're a longtime guest or new to our dealership, I welcome you to experience legendary at the Porsche Exchange.
Well, I think I need to talk to the Porsche Exchange because I would look good in a Porsche out there. But look at all these Porsches. We've got the official results from VIR. Robbie Prescott taking home the win. If I remember, he was second at Road America, then a win here at VIR. Really riding that momentum in the number one car. Kerry Brooks coming home second. Joe Sinclair rounding out the podium. Klaus Nielsen, fourth place. Chris Cook inside the top five. Julian Vela, sixth. Joachim Bacher in seventh. Patrick Adamczyk, eighth. David Fernandez in ninth. And Lyle Edey rounding out the top 10.
Holmes in 12th. Ben Young in 13th place. Peter Krumer in 14th. Sebastiano Ballestieri comes home in 15th in the end there. David Snelling 16th, Jason Brodigan in 17th, Mike Matson in the 18th spot, Robert Lacroix in 19th, Mario Gonzalez in 20th where he started, and the rest of those results are on your screen.
Yeah, we had something, I mean, how many cars here? 49 cars, I believe, that took the green flag, and 46 cars made at least 3 laps or longer, and we actually got our race winner, Robbie Prescott, joining us. Robbie, congratulations on taking home the chicken dinner.
Thank you. That was my first PCA win ever, so I'm pretty hyped up right now.
Awesome, man. Well, I saw you flashing the lights coming down the straightaway, so I know you're excited. And not only a win here, but second place at Road America. This has got to be huge momentum for you.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to make a statement this race. Obviously, racing against Kerry and the boys 2 weeks ago at Road America was awesome. I kind of was not happy with the results. I wish I was kind of up there battling more with Kerry, but he had an amazing pit cycle, and I mean, kudos to him. But today, I just kind of wanted to make a statement, qualify P1, and just try to run away with it as much as I could. I feel really confident in this car and this track. Absolutely love sliding the GT4 around. So my biggest thing was just try to get a big enough gap where at the end of the race, I could just bring it on home nice and chill.
Well, you mentioned you like sliding the car around. The GT4s definitely suit themselves a little bit better for that. But looking ahead, you're going to be at Suzuka in a different car, in a GT3 Cup car. How do you feel going into that one after winning this one by nearly 11 seconds? Are we going to expect that sort of domination at the next round?
I don't know yet. We'll see. I literally bought Suzuka a couple days ago, so we are going to see how that goes. P Cup, I love running P Cup. It's a fun officials race to be in. Definitely a different beast of a car to drive, and I'm sure there's going to be guys out here who are better in the P Cup than the GT4 who are going to get a rub for your money, but I'm definitely going to try to keep that car up to the front as best as I possibly can. So I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, this is a big momentum shift, and I'm so excited for this battle that's going to happen throughout Season 10.
Well, you're pretty much locked into a points battle with yourself and Carrie out there, flip-flopping firsts and seconds. And before I let you go, anybody you want to say hi to or give thanks to?
Oh, 100%. I mean, today at practice, we were on our run. All my teammates were talking smack to me, being like, you better win. So shout out to my teammates and coaches. Hopefully my professors are watching this too. I sent them the link. Definitely for sure my friends back home. They are hyped up every time this race comes along, and they can't wait to watch it. And then he was giving me a hard time last week when I had the interview and I didn't mention his name. But big shout out to Jesse. I'm pretty new to sim racing, so he's been coaching me a lot and just honing in on my craft. And he's been a big, huge help for me to get to where I'm at now. And then obviously shout out to my parents, mom and dad. They keep me fired up to keep going, and they love racing and support me on this virtual sim racing journey. So it's been a blast. And obviously, thank you guys to Podium Esports. You guys put on amazing broadcasts. It's always fun watching these back. And then Porsche Exchange and Six Sigma. So that's all I got for you guys.
That was expertly done there by Robbie Prescott, naming everybody he needed to, and also taking home that chicken dinner. And it looks like Rachel is going to be standing by with our second place finisher.
I am indeed. Kerry Brooks, a fantastic drive today. You and Joe had a really good run there for the latter part of this race. You jumped obviously with the pit cycle. How did this really go for you?
You know what? That was an awesome race. First of all, hats off to Robbie. I don't know what he unlocked tonight, but it was incredible. So great job. We had a lot of fun. I mean, Klaus was a long ways ahead. Joe and I were kind of just running together, and we managed to catch up to him on the pit cycle. And I'm not sure whether he took a little bit more fuel or I just got in and out a little quicker. Joe stayed out for another lap or two, but as it turned out, I was able to get past them both and then run the rest of the race with my rearview mirror.
Well, the way to run a race if you get to that sort of position and keep that kind of position. But how did you find the track today? We seem to see a lot of guys really kind of struggling with turning. It was people having to really track out quite wide, use every millimeter of track. And quite a few of them made some mistakes in that regard, but was it particularly pushy for you?
I did find it to be a little greasy for sure. The beginning of the race, it was quite nice, but I think as the temperature obviously rises and we lay down that rubber, I did find it to be a little greasy, and so my pace was really just to be conservative and on track, because clearly once you hit the grass here, it is all but lights out.
It does seem that way. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or thank?
Well, I'd like to thank the Porsche Exchange for their sponsorship, Six Sigma for their sponsorship, as well as helping me out with this car, and my fellow UCR PCA teammates, as well my spotter, Ben and Silky. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. That is, of course, Kerry Brooks coming home today in the second place.
Looks like we got one final interview here. Joe Sinclair is joining me from the last step on the podium. Joe, congratulations on the P3 finish here at VIR.
Thank you, sir.
Looked like you pretty much spent your race chasing down the number 77 of Kerry Brooks, and I thought you had a little bit more speed than him on the racetrack. What was it that you needed to execute that pass and stay in front of him?
I probably just needed to save a little bit more fuel when I was falling behind him, and I would have caught him in the pit cycle, but that didn't work out. I had to catch him pretty hard. He was pretty quick tonight, and Robbie was out of this world.
Yeah, Robbie Prescott was definitely out there, but you yourself had a few little moments that I caught early in the race. I saw you go off at turn 10, but you didn't let that phase you. You put the visor back down and got right back to it and was able to hunt it back down for second place. And You think it was that pit stop that you just took a little bit too much fuel? Is that where you missed out tonight?
Yeah, probably had nothing for first, but I thought I might have been able to get past Carey, but we're so close and even, it's hard to get past.
Well, in looking at the next race, comparing the GT4 to the GT3 Cup car, how's your comfort level going into those?
I don't mind the Cup car. It drives nice. I personally don't like ABS cars.
I'm pretty similar enough to drive out there. Before I let you go, anybody you want to say hi to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Porsche Exchange and all of our Upper Canada region drivers. Been a great time.
That was Joe Sinclair coming home third place tonight. And just another little note about our race winner. He had a 0x race out there, pretty much a grand slam. Pole position, race win, and 0x from Robbie Prescott. And just remember, join us here again tomorrow night on March 30th at 9:25 p.m. Eastern for the Pro Class. We'd like to thank our sponsors for Series 10, the Porsche Exchange, and Six Sigma Sim Racing. A big thank you to the steering committee at PCA Sim Racing, and a huge thanks to our team tonight, Rachel, Ryan, Cameron, and Dougie. Also, none of this is possible with those behind the scenes, Podium Esports, Ryan Bauer, Gary Sexton, and also John Theodore. Thank you so very much for watching tonight's broadcast of PCA Sim Racing. I'm Joey Atterbury, and I'll see you on the track.